The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sisters Speak. Today we will be talking about reflections of Ramadan, talking about the whole month, reflecting on how it went for us and also discussing the end that we have come towards now. Thank you so much for joining us. You're joined with me, Sonia, and also...
It's me, Fareen.
Thank you, Fareen. It's only just us two on the show today.
It is, yes.
Yes. So please tell me what our show is about.
So our show is a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinions on current events and issues, and even form discussions on general topics such as religion, culture, politics, social media, Islamophobia, etc. Please note all opinions and views are our own, and we respect all other or opposing views.
Thank you so much. And of course, if you do want to get in touch, we are on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. That's at Sisters Speak. This is not a live show, so if you do have thoughts, we won't be able to share it live. But obviously, please do get in touch and we're happy to share it at any other time. So let's just get into the show.
Let's just get into it.
Okay, lovely.
We have much to talk about today.
Yes, we do. But I'm going to start with our first segment, which is Thought for the Week. Fareen, it's only me and you here anyway, so you're going to have to go first.
That's okay.
What is your thought of the week?
My thought of the week. I've been talking with my dad a lot about life, and he's obviously, kind of brown dad thing to just give lectures and everything. So I was just talking about him, and he was saying to me that it doesn't matter how many degrees you have or how many cars you have. It only matters the way that you are with people, and it's really something to think about, because if you had like really good manners and stuff like that, then that's the thing that's important. So if you have a degree in law or something like that, and you're a lawyer now, but you're not good with other people, and you're only good in that degree, then no one's gonna you know what I mean?
Want to work with you. Wow.
Yeah, literally.
That's amazing. So I think there's a few things I want to take away from that. First of all, that you were talking to your dad about life. That is so cute, Fareen.
I think it's so important. It might be, sometimes it gets boring, obviously. And obviously at my age, I don't want to sit there. But it's because he has so much, obviously our parents.
They have wisdom.
Yeah.
They have wisdom. I mean, after the lecturing, you got to think, okay, there are some points that my dad said that are actually worth listening to.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. This comes from experience, whatever they're saying, to be honest. But yeah, that was really nice. How did it even come about, you guys starting talking about this topic?
It's because sometimes people do take advantage of you. And I think my dad, even though maybe he doesn't have a degree, but he's still so nice to other people. But sometimes that nice thing that he has, people may take it like wrong.
Yeah, so there's a phrase, and it's like, don't take my kindness as weakness.
Yes.
And I think that applies here. But anyway, the advice that he gave you, I love that so much. And it's so true, because like you said, you could be educated, sure, be an expert in your field, but if you're not a nice person, then no one wants to work with you. That is this bottom line, right? Also, I think it goes back to the phrase that, I think Mariam will back me on this, right? Because she's always talking about networking. Mm-hmm. And it is the phrase of, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. That's I'm so telling you now. I mean, I'm only a young 25 years old, but I think that is very, very, very true. Because people help each other, and it's all about your network, isn't it? And who you know, what they can do for you, and if they should do anything for you. Because are you worth it? Are you a nice person? Are you gonna give them that favor back as well?
Yeah, definitely. You don't walk around with I have a degree thing on your forehead, do you? Everyone just sees by who you are, how you're talking, what you say. So I think that's just a really important...
How you come across.
Yeah,
literally. First impressions. Yeah, I think that's such a lovely thought of the week. Thank you.
That's okay, thank you.
I just really love it. And I do really think that impressions matter so much. Maybe first impressions, yeah, we say that, but just generally as well, like how you are in the workplace, how you carry yourself, being the bigger person.
Yeah, definitely.
All of these things really, really do matter. Someone's seeing you. Someone knows what you are like. You might be thinking, it's fine, I can get away with this. You can't. People know what you're like. And especially in this day and age of technology and easy sharing, globalization.
Yeah. It might backfire on you.
Exactly, So I love that little advice that your dad gave. It's about how you carry yourself and little things like manners as well.
Always be humble with other people. There's nothing, you're never bigger than anyone.
Yeah.
We're all on the same level here. We're all breathing the same air. So there's no reason why you would have, just because you have this or because you have that, there's no reason to make a balance.
I love that. Thank you. And I guess that kind of links in with, obviously, we are reflecting on the month of Ramadan this month. Sorry, always struggle with it because I've been saying Ramadan my whole life. And then I started working in a South Asian dominated workplace, and they all kind of mocked me, and they were like, why are you saying Ramadan? It's Ramadan. So
I say Ramzan.
Ramzan, yeah.
Yeah,
but is that there's obviously your own way of saying it, and then there's an English way of saying it. That's why I was like,
Is that the English way?
Ramadan is English, but then at home, because I'm Bengali, I would say Roza, which is a completely different word.
Roza, yes.
Roza, yeah, I guess you're getting it, we're getting there. But yeah, so anyway, Ramadan. I guess that's kind of the reflection. You can leave that timer. Sorry,
Okay,
she's just sorting out time in the background, guys. It is radio technical. But yeah, it is that reflection, isn't it, of like leaving this world behind, obviously, because it is just temporary. And I think that kind of ties in with the month of Ramadan almost, because what your dad's reminding you of is people are going to remember who you are. But your education, yeah, it's important for you. And it's always good to better yourself. But at the end of the day, that should just be an add-on to who you are. That's not your whole personality.
It's not your whole personality. Literally, it's what are you taking when you die? You're not taking anything. You're not taking your cars. You're not taking your property. You're not taking money. You're taking who you are. You're taking what you were like. There's good deeds, little good deeds that we do. That's what you're taking.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So it's so important. Thank you so much for that again. After that thought of the week, it's taken over for me, to be honest.
It's something to, honestly, such a good reflection. Now that when I was in the car and he was telling me this, I was like, yeah, you know how you kind of
zone out
and
when your parents lecture you. Yeah.
Yes, literally. And now that I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, I was like, it's such a good lesson to say, and honestly, it's really important for us to remember this.
Thank you. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to move on to our hot topics.
There's no thought of the week?
No, I don't have a thought of the week. You've taken over.
You're too busy today. You're too busy to think about.
Okay, maybe my thought of the week could be, okay, so I know this whole theme of reflection is happening, right? Mm-hmm. It's happening a lot. And that is what Ramadan is about as well. And I think it's also a theme for our radio this month. But I want to just think, when do we actually reflect? Like, when do people actually take that moment? Because yesterday I was actually, I had some free time, which is so rare. I had free time. And I was like, wow, what should I do? And then I thought, wait, this is the perfect time to reflect. This is the thing we talk about on Sister Speak all the time. And then it's just about how do you reflect? So maybe you want to write something down. Maybe you're going to go through. So like I have, the notes app on the iPhone. Often there's little bits that I write there. So maybe it's just going through your notes app again, or cleaning up the notes app if you have random stuff. I found so many takeaway orders on there. I was like, oh my gosh, delete. Yeah, and just little things like that. And obviously this is a pre-record, so it'll be the end of April, I think, when this is on air.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, but last month we had Mother's Day. Yes, so that was really, really nice. And I think it was definitely a moment for me to think, like, why are we celebrating it? Do I want to celebrate it? Because obviously people have mixed opinions.
Yeah. Mother's
Day is every day, right? At the same time, it's nice to take that appreciation moment, whether that be on the day or a different day. But yeah, it was a really good time for me. Anyway, my thought of the week has completely spiraled. But
no, I think Mother's Day is really important. And like people, like you say, every day is Mother's Day. But just one day to remind them that, you're like my whole world. Yeah. I think it's very nice. And the fun thing about this is that here in the UK, it's Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day. The same day is Father's Day in Spain.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So everyone from my Spanish friends were all posting Happy Father's Day, Happy Father's Day. And from my side, from the UK side, everyone's going Happy Mother's Day, and I had to post both of them.
Oh, because you're Spanish and now you're Spanish. English too.
And now I'm English. I'm half and half. So I don't know what I'm going to do on Father's Day in the UK.
You're going to have to wish your mum Happy Father's Day as well.
Yeah.
You know what? But UK is one of the only countries that do it in March. Mother's Day. I think most other countries do it in May, I think.
Yeah, I think it was in May as well.
It's just a UK thing. I don't know. I think it's related to spring because it's like flowers.
Probably.
That's just my theory. But yeah, thank you so much for that again. And that's sort of the week segment done. We can move on to our hot topic. Well, really for the first half of the show, before we move on to the second half, which is reflections on the month of Ramadan. See, I can't do it. But the first half, we're just going to ask each other some questions as we do, just to get an idea of how we deal with certain situations. And these are going to be from the cards that are from Freshly Grounded. Farine, you can ask a question to me first.
I'm going to ask you a question. By the way, these Freshly Grounded cards, we have been using them for this whole Ramadan series because they are really to reflect and they are really deep. So my first question to you, Sonia, is what choice could you make this week that would minimize stress? Stress, such a big thing, and you know I'm gonna back you on this. Sonia's never free. She's always so stressed every single time. So I think this is something that you should reflect on and talk about. What choice could you make this week?
Honestly, Farine, I need to really think about this.
I put you on the spot.
I know, but thank you for asking me this question because I think I need to minimize my stress levels right now. I hate that this is going to be my answer, but I do genuinely think I need to wake up earlier. I think that's the choice that I need to make, because it's not enough hours in the day. That's how it feels. But also, if I wake up earlier, it always feels like you can do more in the morning. Even if it's Ramadan, like I'm fasting, obviously it's coming towards the end of Ramadan, but that period where half the world is still asleep.
Yes.
Or half the people around you.
You always feel more productive.
I'm telling you feel so productive and you can just tick off so many things. And then at least that relieves my stress for later on in the day. And even at work, for example, our Wi-Fi, we've had serious issues. But early in the morning when there's no one there, you can get things done. So if I came a bit earlier, I'd be able to do that. Not just about work, but even at home and certain things that I have to do for side hustle and so on, like creating content or replying to people. When the day gets busy and then it's 5 p.m, 6 p.m, you're like, oh, it's the end of the day. I'm busy, I'm tired, I'm hungry. But if you get that done at the beginning of the day, you've already ticked it off, right? You
woke up with that. I'm going to be productive today. Especially, this thing, I had a friend and she wakes up for Fajr and doesn't sleep after that.
Wow.
I don't know how she does it. And she just starts her day from there. And it's like, that's what we should do as well.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that ties in though. You can't go to sleep late at the same time, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. I pray Fajr and I sometimes I fell asleep on the prayer mat. And so what you have to do is obviously go to sleep early, like you said.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with this kind of minimized stress, when we have this free time where we can do stuff, what I do is go on my phone. So I'm always saying time management, time this, but whenever I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to do, I'm just gonna go on my phone. Mm-hmm. I have so many things to do. I'm just thinking, I'm gaslighting myself into thinking.
Trust me, Farine, we're all the same.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
But yeah, that is a good question, and my answer is definitely, I think I need to make the choice to wake up earlier and do things. Wake up and be productive.
Yeah, definitely. Time management, again, we always say is so important to manage your time. There's 24 hours in a day.
Oh no, don't say it.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not quoting anyone, by the way.
Don't quote anyone. Okay, Farine, I think it's my turn to ask you a question.
Go on then. These questions are really good.
Okay, I'm just flicking through some cards now. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to just go through them like this. Okay, what should you slow down on?
Talking.
No. What?
Because I think everyone that knows me, sometimes I speak so much but I don't make any sense. And again, my dad, he's the one that humbles me, the one that's always been like, why are you're saying so much but you're not saying anything. So I'm going to slow down on, think before you speak, which is something that all parents say. Yes.
But you're a radio presenter.
I know. And it's so ironic, but I think it's because I have different personalities when I'm in kind of different environments. So when I'm here, I know what I'm saying.
So you have the capability of slowing down, thinking about what you're saying and choosing to say those words. But when you're outside of the radio studio, you're saying that you don't.
Yeah, I think because at home, I just feel so comfortable that I just say, what are they going to do? Nothing's going to happen. So I just say whatever and then...
Oh, but you don't think of it like the consequence. You think of it like just you yourself. Like, what do I want to present as? What do I, want to say in this moment? But yeah, I didn't think that about you, Farine. Honestly, you're quite articulate. You're smart, mashallah. So I did not understand that you have to slow down on talking. I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of ironic. It's like I have some of my moments.
So your brain is moving faster, and your mouth is moving faster than your brain. I think it is.
Yeah,
that's funny.
What about you? What would you slow down on? Everything.
Oh, sorry, I never asked you your question. We'll ask that. I'll come back to you.
That's okay.
Well, I would slow down on not everything. No, because it is what it is. Like, you have to do all of this working stuff. It's cost of living crisis. Can't slow down.
If you think about it, we never stop. Our brain is always functioning until the time that we go to sleep. That's when I feel like we slow down, and we're like half sleeping at the start.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. What would I slow down on? I actually don't know on that question.
It's a weird question, but
eating. Guys, it's Ramadan, and you know how it is. You just iftar, you seafood, you eat it.
Yeah, honestly, eat one date, pray, and then open your fast.
I know. I mean, this is obviously going to be at the end of Ramadan, but I think we should all remember that, you know, please don't eat heavy food and then start praying. That's like the worst thing you could do, because you can just feel it coming back up when you bend down as well. And even if you don't, I think it's unfair to the people around you as well if you've eaten so much food and you're trying to pray, if you're at the mosque as well. But yeah, I think we'll delve into that into the second half of the show. I can't wait to talk about that. But Fareen, I want to just quickly ask you, I know I'm not going to pick a different card, just the first card, which was, what choice could you make this week that could minimize your stress? What would your answer be for that?
Let's see. So this week, what I can do is the last week of Ramadan. So what can I do to minimize stress? Obviously, my exams are coming out, my A-level ones. Yes. I've been fasting for the whole month and revising as well. So to minimize this stress, I'm just going to think that every dua that I made in Ramadan is going to help me in my A-level exams. That's my kind of way of dealing with it. Even if I think I didn't do much revision or I'm not ready for this exam, I just know that, you know, it's never, obviously,
it's in God's hands now.
Yes. It's obviously, it's deep. I'm not going to say it's never that deep because it's my A-levels exam. But just, if it's because the thing is with me, when I do an exam, if it comes bad, if I did it bad, then I just did it. You're never going to take the paper back and redo it again.
Well,
so
I think what you said is very good. Like, you've done everything you can.
Yeah.
So at this point, you let that stress go and think, I've done as much as I could do, and now the rest will be in God's hands.
Yeah, literally. I never used to cry about papers. I just had this mentality of, I got my grade now. What my teacher's gonna do, you know, it's kind of.
Fareen, that's such a great mentality to have.
I don't know why I have this mentality. All my friends will be like, "Oh no, this is such a bad grade." And I used to be like,
"What? Where did we go from here?
Yeah,
let me solve the problem instead of crying about it." It's great outlook.
It's what it is. Your grade does not define you again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it hits hard if you felt like it's unfair, like you've worked so hard and you don't get the grade you think you deserve. But like you said, it is what it is now.
Definitely.
Appeal if you want to appeal, then the options are there. I was kind of like you back when I was in school a lifetime ago. This is a really weird thing about me, and I'm going to admit it on radio for the first time. I enjoy taking tests.
No, you don't.
I do. I used to look like I had a feeling the other day, and I was like, wow, I really miss that feeling when everybody's going to the hall and they're checking your ears, and then you're getting your little pencil case that's see-through, handing your phones, or, you know, you've put them away in the locker or whatever. I just love it. And then you look at the clock, everybody's looking at the clock, you have a certain amount of time, and then, you know, that feeling when you go back and you think, I know I've got that right. Okay, so I've got a minimum of 50 marks out of it. So you start doing all this counting stuff, and there's invigilators walking by. Sometimes they give you a nice smile, like, I see you working hard, you're real. Just all these little things. Miss, can I have a rubber, please? Like, just that process.
So now I actually can't
believe exam hall. No, you can't believe it because you're still there.
I'm still there.
You're doing your A-levels, but now that I've literally left uni like 4 years ago, just that's not happened since then. So honestly, I'm telling you, it's such a. You know why, Fareen? Because you work so hard for something, and then you do something that determines whether or not you were good at it, and it's a yay or a nay. It's a pass or a fail.
Yeah.
Now in life, I can do things. There's nothing to tell me that it's correct, or I've passed, or I'm doing well. There's nothing.
There's no validation from the A-star.
Maybe it's a deep-rooted issue. However, I don't think there's anything wrong with tests and exams. Like I said, I enjoy them. So yeah, I've now admitted for the first time that I miss doing tests.
I think it's because you see it as something fun of your high school times, but because I'm doing it now.
Honestly, I think it's just the validation part, because you're working hard for a reason to achieve something. Now it really is just working hard to get by, to live, to survive. But yeah, that's my confession. We've got still a few more minutes, so let's do a few more other cards. Would you like to pick a card now, Fareen?
Yes, let me pick. I read this really good question. What about keeping in touch with people do you find the hardest? I think this is a really good question.
Okay. Could you just say it again, please?
Yeah. What about keeping in touch with people do you find the hardest?
Okay, so I think that's a very broad thing. So just keeping in touch with people, but the hardest part would be replying to messages and finding time to meet up. But on the replying to messages, definitely that, because someone messages you, you message them, and then they message you while you're doing something, so you've opened it and you couldn't reply, and then that's it, and then you completely forget. That's just. I think one good thing is my friends or the people I talk to are very good at understanding that. Like, we don't have no weirdness. They're not going to be like, oh, you forgot to reply to me, I'm now going to unfriend you forever. We're not like
That's
that.
My age people thing.
Yeah, thank God I have grown out of that. But definitely, I think messaging part. And keeping up to date with each other's lives. It's sad to say, but sometimes the only way is via social media, that you might find out that someone's had a baby or something.
Yeah.
Whereas it wasn't like that before. You'd be there throughout the whole journey of something. But it's hard, isn't it? People are busy.
Yeah.
What about you? If I just flip the question back to you, what do you find hard, like, to keep in touch with people? What's the hardest part?
I'm going to say with people, obviously, now in college, I see them every day. I'm just going to talk about my people, my family back home. I never speak to them. I obviously through social media, but it's just really, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? That's the only conversation. But then when I go there, I'm like, this is my family, and I get so comfortable. But when I'm here, whenever my grandma video calls me, I'm always doing something, or I'm in class, because there's a time difference. So whenever she calls me, I can never pick up. And when she's talking with my mom, then I'm doing something else, or I don't feel like talking, which is
it's just not the same.
It's not the same
when you're over FaceTime or social media rather than in
real life.
I'm exactly the same like that. Like, I can't, me and my friends, if you saw like a message, like a WhatsApp between us, it looks very bland, and it's like, are these supposed to be best friends? But then when we meet each other, we're besties, we have deep conversations, you'd think, oh yeah, they really are a really close group. But it's not the same on, I don't know, maybe I'm not good at messaging. And
No, I completely agree with you. And whenever it's just the same conversation, there's nothing flowing.
But it's weird though, because like you mentioned, like with your grandmother back home, even I have some family back home. And again, when they're on the phone here, my dad FaceTime shows it to me. I'm like, hey, you do the formalities. Have you eaten? Yeah, I have. Make the well for me. Thank you. You too. That's it. But when you go there, best times ever. You can talk about anything, right? And you have that openness. So
yes, definitely. But I think it's really important, even the minimum effort that you make to talk with your grandma, because she's my only grandma left. So I was lucky enough to meet my grandpa before he passed away, years ago. So I was really, I didn't have that. I didn't keep in touch with him before he passed away. So I think that was really important. Now I want to keep in touch with my grandma.
That's good.
It's good that she knows how to, use a phone now.
Really good. Wow.
Really good.
Oh, thank you so much. We'll do one last question before the first half of the show. What does patience mean to you?
Patience is, I always say this, is something so important. Patience and humbleness are two things that I keep, they're like key things for me. Because if you don't have patience, it's just, life is going, like, time is, for everyone is the same. So if 1 minute for you is 1 minute for me. So just patience is just really important.
So can you give me examples of when you've had to be patient?
So, for example, I see it sometimes with my mom, someone who doesn't speak English. So you go somewhere and people don't have the patience that, so imagine I'm going with my mom, right? And she doesn't speak English, for example. So she'll be like, you talk. No, but you need to practice your English. So the people that's in front of me, she needs to be patient that, okay, she's trying at least. You're in a new country.
But so that's the patience you're putting on someone else.
On someone else,
They need to be patient. Yeah.
Because I think I'm a really patient person. I really don't rush people
are not
into
patient. I think if I've seen anything, people are not patient.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's really important.
But patience, I agree. I think it's something that people should practice, because you want the same patience extended to you when you need it. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Like, I could be not patient towards you, then one day I need someone to be patient for me. So especially if you're like you don't know, you never know when it might benefit you. You could be late to something. You could be struggling to articulate yourself. You could be taking long to work on a document.
Literally. It's because we're all humans. I'm never going to work at the same pace that you're working at. So the fact that you're going to be patient with me just because maybe I'm new at the job, maybe I'm learning to drive, for example.
Yeah,
such
absolutely.
an important thing.
Absolutely. Everyone just learns and does things at their own
At
pace.
their own pace, yeah, literally.
That's a really hard one, actually, because you expect people to do things the way you do. You just expect it.
You do.
And when they don't, you sometimes just can't think, you can't comprehend it. But it's like, no, have that patience, because someone was patient with you one day, especially when you were a child and in school learning. Just speak to a teacher. I think we needed a teacher on this topic.
We do.
They would be like, oh, let me tell you about patience,
You can't think, oh my God, what's going on? Like, but not actually show it that you're being like, because you're just rushing them and they feel bad. It happened to me.
It makes the other person feel like they can't.
Yeah, it makes you feel small. And I'm talking from experience. It's so bad. It's just, obviously I came from a new country, then everyone's so used to everything.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just came here, give me
patience.
Some patience,
exactly.
Yeah, literally take a chill pill.
There you go. But yeah, thank you so much for that, Fareen. It was a lovely first half of the show.
It was.
So just again, on the second half of the show, we will be talking about the month of Ramadan, how it went for us, and just reflecting on it and how we're going to move forward as well. So please do join us again for the second half of the show, which is Sisters Speak. Okay, thank you guys so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programs from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Sisters Speak. And I'm here with myself, Sonia, and I'm also joined with...
Fareen, salam alaikum. I was going to say the same thing.
Walaikum salam. Hi, Fareen.
Hi, Sonia.
In the first half of the show, we went through some freshly grounded cards. We just asked each other some questions, which Fareen did mention we've been doing throughout the Ramadan series at Sisters Speak. But yeah, if you guys want to even get involved or share some thoughts and ideas, you can do that. How, Fareen?
So you can message us, like DM us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Sisters Speak. I just want to say we are starting a hashtag called Thought of the Week on Twitter. So if you do put your Thought of the Week, we can maybe repost it and you can let us know your thoughts and obviously your thoughts of the week.
And we will also say it on radio.
Yes,
eventually.
We will.
So if you tag us, hashtag, whatever it is, and yeah, we will 100% share that on radio. It will be lovely. And obviously, like I mentioned, that was the first half of the show. We went through our Thought of the Week. But the second half of the show is about reflections during the month of Ramadan and also coming towards the end of Ramadan, so just reflecting on the whole month. What I'll just ask you a general question, really. How was Ramadan for you? How was the start of Ramadan? So we just do it like in chronological order. So how was the beginning of Ramadan for you?
The beginning, obviously, for everyone is always hard. You're getting back into this. You're kind of changing your whole routine from eating every day to not eating. So it's always hard, especially revising for my A levels. You just can't be asked. You're always so tired. And yeah, so that's how my and I think, but I'm actually really excited for this start. I was really excited for the start of this Ramadan because it is my first Ramadan here, like my whole month.
Wow, it was your first time ever.
My first time ever actually fasting the whole 30 days in the UK because last year what I did is I came here for I think it was like Easter holiday or something. So I stayed here for 2 weeks and then went back there for another 2 weeks. So I was kind of all over the place. You don't really feel.
It was just kind of, you're more focused on your traveling and back and forth from Spain and the UK. Okay, so that's really nice. I think for me, just the start of Ramadan, it was definitely the dehydration that gets me. I always naturally, I think everybody's dehydrated. People don't drink enough water. So now imagine during Ramadan, you don't, because you can't just fill yourself up with water at iftar either, because you're just bloated by the end of it. So it's about having those sips throughout the whole night and trying to get your liters in there. So that was definitely a very hard moment. And working, it's only my second Ramadan ever, I think, working. And it sounds, I know people do so much during the month of Ramadan, I tried it that time. People do so much, but it's an individual thing at the end of the day. So some people, it could just be easy. But like, I remember when I was in school and A-levels, I did as well during Ramadan. I actually was fine almost. Like, I think being in school, you're just so preoccupied with learning and so on. And you got deadlines and that's what you're thinking of. And for some reason, when you're a teenager as well, sleep is just whatever. Like, you can just sleep at any time. It doesn't matter. You can stay awake till 3 a.m. It's fine. But now I just feel like I have to have my sleep. So that was definitely really hard to adjust to at the beginning. I didn't know how to really like wake up for Zehri and stay awake and obviously pray and then try and maybe go back to sleep or wake up. Like it was very difficult trying to get that timetable sorted. But now I think I'm just starting to get used to it.
Yeah, the first 3-4 days are always so hard, and everyone around you can just feel the kind of tiredness. Is there a word?
Yeah,
you can just feel it, that everyone, they have
fatigue.
Yes,
yeah.
They have what do you call this, under
eye bags.
They have eye bags. I think it was called under eyes.
Yeah.
You have eye bags and you have all of this, and everyone's kind of in a bad mood, which is something that happens. Cranky, yes.
But you've got to manage it. You've got to manage it, because then look now, like I think everyone's actually more positive. People have energy, and it's amazing to think that you can literally go the whole day, daylight hours, not eating, and still have energy. It's actually kind of amazing.
No, you mentioned college as well. I think with college, you literally forget to eat. Yeah. I was college like from 8 to 4, and I just I don't know, one little chocolate bar or something, and just because you're just so busy with everything, your lessons, you have your friends, you have your breaks, but you're not thinking about eating. You're just thinking about when it's gonna be at college.
Exactly. But I'm really lucky that at my workplace we have this leniency of timing during Ramadan. So like we had a chat, and they did say like anytime, any week that you think, okay, you know what, this week I'd like to start maybe at 10 a.m, 1 hour later, and make up for it at the end of the day, or make up for it out of Ramadan, we could do that.
Wow, that's really good.
I know, it's really blessed to be working in a Muslim workplace. Even though my manager, she's not Muslim herself, but she totally understands, obviously, and she took us aside. She said, anyone, like individual, it doesn't have to be a group thing. You just tell me how you feel. But to be honest, like I said, slowly, I think I managed it better, and I want it to go in at normal times, because it's about making Ramadan, it has to work with your life, not separate from your life. That's how I felt. Do you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be something completely separate. It should be entwined. That is the whole thing, isn't it?
It's just including it in your lifestyle, but kind of not making the whole thing about it.
Well, I don't know. Say that again.
So it's you're fasting, but it's just your normal daily routine, just without eating.
But you should be able to do both, though. But you should obviously still try and do more praise during that time and so on, because worship Allah, obviously, because that's the whole point. Like you will be getting more reward, but I think it is true. Like you don't make it two separate things. Don't think I have to stop everything now
and to fast,
or like I can't do anything because I'm fasting. Like try and bring the two together. I think that's totally true. But as we were mentioning, the beginning of Ramadan, it was actually really nice for me, because it was one of my little cousins. It was her first like full fast as well.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah, I know. And so her dad organised a Ramadan quiz and in our family, and it was so much fun. Like I said, that energy came through. Like even though people were fasting, people were shouting, you get competitive, but it was really nice, because it was like some questions we had which were like easy quick fire questions. So like, Muslims give charity during the month of Ramadan. What is it called? Obviously it's zakat.
Yes.
So we were screaming that. But then other ones were a bit more harder, like can you name the caliphates or something like that, and you had to do it in order as well, and I was like, oh, this is difficult.
Oh wow.
But we learned, because then when we got it wrong, obviously my
it's
uncle
family,
would tell us the right answer. And it was just such a nice vibe. So I think anyone that's listening now, you're looking for a Ramadan activity to do, it is the end of Ramadan. Ramadan quiz, I'm telling you now, it's so much fun. Do some written down answers and then do quick fire rounds. It's the best thing.
It's so good to have like family time as well, which is so important in Ramadan.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, that is obviously I'm going to talk about that a bit more. The middle of Ramadan, I think what was really nice is that me and my family, we went to so many people's different houses. We had invitations. It's just nice when you have that family and friend, and I think it's, even if you're the one that's hosting it, it's so rewarding for you to do that. It is, yeah. To feed other people, like to provide them with food during iftar as well. It's the best thing. Did you have many did you go places this Ramadan?
Yes. Iftar? So I went to my
Sorry.
I went to my local mosque every day, and obviously it's the same people every day, isn't it?
Sorry, Fareed's just giggling a little bit because so it's just a technical difficulty.
Yeah, so as I was saying, sorry, it's the same people that you see every day. So you just, even if you're not friends with them.
Did you always open your fast in the mosque?
I always open my fast in the mosque, because at home you just get so busy with working and everything. And my mom, obviously it depends on what my parents are doing. So if my mom feels like making iftar that day, then she was gonna make it.
Oh, I understand. Okay. What about yourself and your siblings? Do you ever do you guys trying to help out during iftar?
Yeah, of course, it's so important. Please help your mums, dads, whoever's making the iftar. Just, it's so rewarding for you as well. And I did help my mum throughout the month.
That's good.
Because it's just me and my mom, the only two ladies in the house right now. So it is really important for me to help her. So just twice.
Men should help as well.
Yes, twice a week we used to eat iftar at home, and then we would go mosque and
is it
socialize.
nice at the mosque? Because I don't actually open fast at the mosque, so I'm not sure what it's like there.
It is so nice, everyone's like doing the same thing. And obviously my whole, like I said, my first whole Ramadan month here, because I used to open it, me and my dad, and that was the only thing. So it's such a, compared to last year, this Ramadan was so good. It's just full of, everyone around me was fasting. It was just really not just me, and everyone asking, oh, what are you not eating? Why are you doing that?
I know, yeah. I had a Ramadan when I was at uni, and not many of my friends were at university because it was that exam period. So, it's like some people are there, some students aren't there. You know how it is during exam period. And I actually recall quite a few because I've taken a picture, obviously. I'm on the train home and it's just me and a sandwich. You know what I mean? Yeah, or me and my bottle of water and some fruit that I've bought from Greg's or something. I'm just sitting on the train on the way home having that. And it's not loads of people have to do this, right, all across the world. So it is amazing, and we need to kind of give yourself a pat on the back if you are that person that you're by yourself. There's only you and God are holding yourselves accountable for this,
literally.
Right? You're doing it because you want to do it. Because where the people around you, or you're on that train, they don't know. No one's looking at you saying, oh, it's time to open iftar, quickly grab your water. There isn't that. It's just you yourself. So I think really well done to those people that obviously do manage to do that. And like you said, Fareen, you and your dad last year were doing that all by yourselves. So it's nice that you had a different experience this year.
Wow, I really liked what you said. It's just God in you. It's so true if you're by yourself. And we are so grateful that we at least have food. There's some people that just open it with so many little things, and they're still grateful for it.
I mean, that was kind of one of the topics I wanted to touch on. That obviously we live in the UK and there's a cost of living crisis, right? And I'm just reflecting because I remember when I was really young, or maybe because I was young so I couldn't tell, but it did seem like I was having a lavish iftar every day, every night, because you naturally want to prepare good food because you've not been eating, right? But I do remember having so many dishes on the table, like pakoras and samosas and rice and chickpeas,
just fried stuff,
so many things, you name it, stuff from the shops, chicken chips, everything. And obviously I think we shouldn't have done that every day anyway. But slowly I have seen that kind of die down a little bit, and there can be some iftars where we might just have only just fruit
one
and
dish.
Chickpeas. Do you know what I mean? Literally just two little things there, and that's fine though. I'm not saying little now, but it's fine because that's what you would eat for a meal, and you'd be fine. Like iftar is not you eating the full 3 meals of the day that you might. It's not breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks.
Yeah,
it's not. It's just a meal to open your fast, right? But obviously, touching on cost of living crisis, do you think that? Obviously, there might be people out there, even ourselves, like I said, I do think that we should be being wary of how much we eat and how much we're spending as well.
We do. So if for example, when we were making iftar at home, if we know that no one's going to eat it, then no one's going to make that dish. So why would we spend money on making that when we know no one's going to eat it?
It's wasteful, isn't it?
It's wasteful. It is. So that's why we just make the food that we just plan it in the day. And this, we didn't make 3-4 different dishes. We just make 2, for example.
That's
so
good, yeah.
Curry, rice, and then something healthy, and that's it. And we know it's something that we eat every day, every day for lunch, every day for dinner. So we know it's gonna be filling.
I think the way to do it, if you do want to, obviously people, you like to indulge a little bit. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but then there maybe could be one day a week, or if you know you're going into someone's house or you're hosting a big iftar party or whatever it is, maybe that can be your time where you're like, oh, I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna make a chicken pie or something, but yeah, I'm glad personally in my family that we have really cut down on the lavish everyday over excessive iftars where there's so many of each item and dish and so on. I'm really, really glad slowly that we did stop doing that, because it's just overindulgence, like we said, and wasteful. Because then there comes a day and it's like, okay, this is you have to have a leftover day where you're having the leftovers of everything.
Yeah.
But then if you don't have that, then it literally goes.
It's wasteful,
bin.
yeah.
So it's and that's the last thing you want to do during the month of Ramadan. You don't want to be throwing food away. So
It's just to make what everyone's gonna need in that family. You
Yeah.
count how many people there are, how much are you? Obviously, you can't count how much you're gonna eat, but you can
Yeah, but
make
you
a
can estimate.
estimate,
And also, I
yes.
think that people, even like I'm saying myself, it's always to myself first. Like, you don't have to be so like, I've been fasting, so I need an amazing meal. Like, at the end of the day, you don't, do you? You just need to open your fast because you eat one slice of bread and you will
it's
be
legit
fine.
enough, and
Yeah.
you get so full after. Everyone says that, but it's so true, and we actually experienced it. So
Yeah.
you eat one spoon and you're like, oh my god, I can't do it anymore.
You can have a few spoons of rice and you're good
And you're
to
good.
go.
Yeah, literally.
So I totally agree with you on that. And I think we should remember that. Like, let's not stuff ourselves for the sake of it, right? But yeah, I'm glad to say, like I said, this Ramadan, we definitely cut down in a good way and just had what we needed to have, which was fantastic. So another topic I wanted to touch on is just how we might continue this post Ramadan. And I'm not just talking about the food. Obviously, I'm talking about
Habits and everything.
exactly.
So with Ramadan, I think I said this in before, and I really do talk about this with my friends. I think it's such an interesting thing to, because we all see it. So in Ramadan, and I do it as well. For example, in Ramadan, you cut off on listening to music, for example, and then the day it finishes, the day after, you just
That happens. Yeah.
So the thing is, Ramadan is not a month. Obviously, it's a month of reflection. It's a month to worship Allah, but after that, like, you still have 12 months. So with my thing is, after Ramadan, I try to consider the rest of the months as Ramadan as well. So things that for example, in 30 months I stopped, I don't know, doing something, then for the next month I won't do it. So for example, listening to music, if I'm cutting it off,
30 days, sorry.
yeah, so 30 days, for example, I want to cover my hijab properly, then after Ramadan I'm still gonna cover it properly. I've been doing 30 days with it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. That's really good. I think for me it would always come down to like praying 5 times a day,
Yes,
because it's like in Ramadan sometimes, like, it's like nearly everyone I know, you manage that 5 times a day prayer, and I don't know what it is. Like, obviously it is a blessed month, so that's the whole point, where you should be doing it, and you may feel that encouragement just from around you, just knowing that this is the time to be doing it, everyone's doing it. I don't know what it is, but you do it, you have that motivation, and it's like, so you manage to fit that into your lifestyle and your schedule, so you just have to keep doing it.
you just have to keep doing it. And is Fajr prayers is the one that everyone struggles the most, and I personally struggle the most with them. But in Ramzan it just feels so easy to do it, and it felt so easy during the month.
So do you think now that for future purposes, obviously we're coming towards the end of Ramadan and we're going to move on to non-Ramadan months, like we're not going to be fasting, we might not be fasting, if you wake up for Fajr and pray, do you think it might help to eat something, so it's like you've woken up for a little snack as well?
I don't think so.
Is that wrong?
I don't. It's because
why would you want to eat if you're not fasting, to be honest? Why would you wake up in the night to eat?
Yeah, you just wake up for Fajr and go to sleep. Like I said,
Fajr should be enough motivation, actually. I completely take back what I said. The prayer should be enough motivation, right? Nothing else.
But you're saying to wake up and during prayer time and eat something.
Not eat something, but maybe if you carry on that routine, like, I used to wake up, eat, pray, do you see what I'm trying to say?
I don't know why. I just feel like the Ramadan vibe was so different. So when you wake, we've been normally waking up at this time and we're having this food and we're like, okay, we know it's Ramadan. But when it's not Ramadan, then I don't think I would wake up and be like, oh, I'm going to eat this now. I know,
it's silly.
It just feels
like,
weird,
doesn't go back to sleep. I always struggle with that anyway. Another thing I wanted to talk about was just the feeling of Ramadan, because you mentioned that as well. And when I lived somewhere else before, and it was the summer Ramadans. They were so beautiful.
Lovely.
It was amazing. And the ironic thing is, Fareen, I remember when we got into the summer Ramadans and we thought, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do it? It's 18-hour fast, nearly 19-hour fast. It's like 9:30 p.m. we're opening our fast. We're, revising, studying at school, working hard, dehydrated. All of these factors came into play. And we were so worried about it. I mean, even though, like I said, people around the world, like we mentioned, Iceland, Sweden, they do these fasts for like 20 hours and so on. But the thing is, we made it work and it ended up being amazing. And even things like the iftar events that were happening and prayers that were happening, Eid prayers and so on, even, like I said, Ramadan prayers, it felt nice because it was warm outside and it was just a good vibe. And like I said, where I lived before, it was very majority Muslim around me. And it was because it was like in the night when it was a time to pray Taraweeh, or if it was like Fajr, people are awake and people were active, and it was a very good vibe all round, I would say. But I don't have that anymore from where I am. I've now moved to an area where people around me aren't fasting because they're not Muslim, and also it's cold. It's not hot anymore.
I know, it's such a big difference, because you have to fast first, you have to fast longer, and it's just not the same. You could, after your fast, what we used to do is we used to just walk around our neighborhood.
It was warm, that's why.
Yeah,
right?
it was warm. So after eating so much, we used to stuff our face, and then we just walk around like, oh my God, I'm just gonna chill out a little bit, because you just feel so much energized after you eat your iftar. So that's what we used to do in the warm. But now that it's cold, nobody's gonna go out with their coats to eat anything.
Having said that, what I actually want to say is, I think I'm making new traditions this Ramadan, because obviously now it's been in this March, April period for a while now. I'd say nearly 3 years or 2 years or something. So, I'm making new traditions. And I think that like certain things, like there's a big iftar and so on, they're underneath a canopy tent. So it's not out in the open in case it does rain. And just different, obviously, you're not going to have the same like fruits like watermelon we used to have in the summer.
It's just adjusting to it.
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
weather.
But you have other things. And also, because it's a bit earlier, certain things are still open. So if you want to do your grocery shopping, for example, I'm just giving a random example, the supermarkets are still open. So you could even have that period after iftar, when it's like 7, 8, 9 p.m. Things are still open, things are still running. That could be a bit of you trying to do things that you might not have been able to do during the day. Do you see what I'm saying? So like before, when iftar was so late, it was like 10 o'clock, you're like, I have to go to sleep, I have school tomorrow, like I don't have any more hours in the day. Whereas now it's like, actually I could stay up and do my homework, I can revise, I can catch up on anything I need to catch up on, because it's still only 9 p.m.
It's only 9 p.m.
I'll be okay. It was 8 p.m. even, like you'll be fine. So I think it's different, but I'm definitely learning how to adjust to that. I think, like I said, new traditions. Like, it's not as warm when you go out for a walk, but
you get used to it.
Wear a coat.
Yeah.
Wear a coat. You'll be fine.
Literally, we had 30 days to get used to this stuff. It's such a long time, if you think about it.
It is. And like I said, obviously now I don't have Muslim people around me where I live, but now I go to the mosque, whereas I never used to go to the mosque when it was the summer ones. I don't know why, but now I have the chance. I think I just saw, and it's funny because it was social media. See, it can be good sometimes.
It can be good.
It can be good sometimes. One of my friends, she kind of put it on her social, and I was like, oh wait, that mosque isn't far from me. They have a ladies section. I'm gonna go to it, and I went to it with my younger sister. I took her along with me. And even though she's got school, because of the timing, she can come. Whereas in the summer ones, she wouldn't be able to come because she's like, I've got school, I have to go to sleep. Now, 8 o'clock is fine, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So we went to the mosque, and it was really nice. I think those are feelings when you're there, obviously. Community definitely makes a huge difference. It does
make such a good difference. Everyone around you it's the same feeling for everyone. We're all praying together, and we just opened our fast, went through such a long day, and now we're just praying together, and it's just such a relaxing feeling.
That feeling with someone else, you're not alone with doing this. Even like I said, even though it is between you and Allah at the end of the day, it is nice to have
other people to do it with, and especially after having such a lonely Ramadan. This Ramadan was actually so nice. Everyone around you, we're on the same path here, so I think it was just really nice. And
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Fareen. That's really nice. But like I said, I think you obviously mentioned you did go to the mosque quite often. So the times that I did go, I would, like I said, it's just nice to have that like solidarity almost, I think, and someone to share it with and talk about your different experiences that you are having. But like we talked about how Ramadan was for us, the start, the beginning, how we're going to continue our good habits that we've picked up during Ramadan. I just want to talk a little bit, obviously, about reflection, which is our main theme.
Our Ramadan series for this month.
Yes. So did you actually reflect during this month of Ramadan?
I think I did, I think this Ramadan, because again, it's such a big community, so everyone is fasting, everyone on the same thing. So we know what we're saying, we know what we're doing. So I think reflecting in this month is so important, and I think I have been doing it, and I've been trying to get on my deen, developing that, because last year I wasn't doing it as much. I was just so stressed out. I don't know why. I was so stressed out.
Back and forth from the UK
I was back and
Spain.
Forth, literally. So I didn't have time to stop and be like, this is Ramzan, this is such a good time to reflect and talk with Allah, make dua, which is again so powerful. So I think this Ramadan I did reflect, and obviously having all my friends and family around me, and this big community where it just feels nice when they're doing it as well. and they're reflecting
that's
as
what
well.
I'm saying. It's nice to have your community and your peers that join in. But you were saying you reflected. How did you reflect during this month?
Just during my prayers, I think after every prayer, it's kind of nice, especially after. So you have your fajr and sehri and everything. I just used to sit at my prayer mat, just sitting there. It just seems so peaceful. And because it's Ramadan day, you don't want to be wasting your time using your phone, which is something that I would do. I don't know, after fajr time, you don't have anything to do. I can't sleep, so it's just something. Reflecting is honestly for me before sleeping, when I'm kind of sleepy, you just lay down and you just think about life. That's kind of my way.
That is reflecting. That is thinking about what's happened, and it's almost like evaluating what went well. Even better if
yeah.
EVI, if you know, you know.
And talking with my friends as well, like talking with about how was your fasting? Oh, it was bad. It was okay. This is something that you should talk about. This is the time.
Absolutely. And I think even us on radio here today, and every radio show we have, really, that's a reflecting period, because you're looking back on something and kind of seeing how it went for you.
That's why we want to know everyone's thoughts as well.
Thank you. Say it again, Fareen.
We want to know everyone's reflections this Ramadan. So do DM us on Sister Speak. We will be reposting them and talking about them, because this is not just a me and Sania thing. This is a whole community thing. Yes. Like we said, Ramadan's for everyone, and we all have our different little struggles and our little wins this month. So we do want to know about them. So do DM us on Sister Speak.
Yay, I love that. Thank you. And Sister Speak is definitely, coming together this Ramadan.
It is, mashallah. It's been having such a big improvement.
I'm glad you think that.
I do.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, in terms of reflecting during this month, I also do think that praying definitely is like the best thing. But like you said, just talking to people about it, like it's an amazing thing that we do. Sometimes we forget because it's so normal to us now. Like your mum and dad have done it, your uncles, aunties, grandparents, neighbours, everyone. But it's actually you're doing an amazing thing. So well done to everyone that fasted during this month of Ramadan.
Yeah, it was a hard month. We got through it, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. And yes, inshallah, we can continue with our good habits post Ramadan. Thank you all so much for listening, and do join us again next week on Sister Speak. We will be back to our normal time, which is 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. Please do join us then. Thank you again, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.